I love goals. I write them down, I romanticize them, and then I completely ignore them.
Hey everyone, welcome to another podcast episode of Just One Bite. I'm one of your hosts, Nina at Psychofood.
And I'm Tiff at Take One for the Road.
And it is time to goal set today. Actually, you should already been goal setting, but it's, we need to do a check-in mid-quarter.
Yes.
Q1.
It's never too late.
Yes. And, if Q1 already is not working out in your favor, don't worry, because Q2 will be soon coming. But even in, horoscope, too, they said, Chinese zodiac, regular horoscope, they were like, oh yeah, February is when the year actually begins.
True.
So January I kind of dismissed, but then February we're kind of in the motion of the year.
Yes.
And it's really time to assess, align, and get into the good habits now to set the tone for the rest of the year. And we're here to make sure that you're not discouraged. If you didn't succeed in January or February, it's okay. We can still keep going.
We still have time.
We still got time.
Yeah.
We still got time. What are some of your goals for this year that you wrote down but you have yet to
So remember how last year I was like, I am going to read 4 books in a year. I'm going to read 1 book per quarter.
That was gutsy.
Yeah, that didn't happen. I read 0 books all year.
Same. I am not a reader, I'll be honest. I'm a watcher. Yeah. I'm a listener.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I used to love reading growing up, and then I just stopped. So this year, I will put my goal as 1 book for the year.
Pretty good.
And I think that's a little bit more attainable. Mm-hmm. So we're going to go with that.
Yeah. 50 pages a month. If you think about it.
1 page a day, maybe?
Okay, that could work too if the book is a 300.
Yeah. But yeah, I really should try to read at least 1 book this year.
Okay, reading a book is 1. What's another thing is on your list?
I think just being more active. So I get my blood test done every year, and this past end of the year I got my blood test done. Granted, I really should stop doing my blood tests right after Thanksgiving because I feel like it's strewing my results, or maybe that's what I want to tell myself, is that if I just did it in the summer, my results would be so much better than now, because I did it right after the holidays or during the holidays when I was eating a lot. So everything's fine. It's just my cholesterol is a little bit high, and I think I really want to just focus a little bit more on health. And not just I feel like sometimes I'm like, I gotta be intense about it, but I think scratch intensity, we're gonna replace it with consistency.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah, put on a shirt.
So we're gonna I think for me, just be more consistent, getting into that habit of walking more, keeping up with going to Pilates more consistently. So if I can, twice a week Pilates. And then I think I really need to throw in something with a little bit more high intensity cardio, just a tad bit. So I think maybe doing a cycling class with my boyfriend, because I just got him on ClassPass.
Yeah.
And I think we did 1 cycling class together, and it was really fun. So maybe throwing a little bit of a cycling class here and there with him would be great, because then we're because he's super fit and he's super active and I am not. We'll be at home and he'd be like, I need to do 300 push-ups, and he's just doing 300 push-ups. He's like, you want to join me? You want to do sit-ups with me?
That's a lot of push-ups.
No, I'm gonna watch from the couch.
Yeah. I think you gotta have a mix of things, and working out should be, I guess, a little bit more fun. But I think I've always had that goal every year to be work out more, and then if I'll probably fall off in the middle of the year, and then I go on a trip, and then I'm out of my routine.
Yes.
But I think I'm gonna change it and instead try to have a healthy meal a few times a week, when it includes leaves or something whole,
Yes, no, I think that's so smart, because I think the main part about a lot of when it comes to your health, and I think the biggest factor is just what you're putting in your body.
Yeah.
And that's what I kind of discovered during the summer this last summer is like I lost 10 pounds because not only was I more active, but I was more mindful about what I was putting into my body. And so this year I've decided to be a dense bean salad girl.
Oh,
so
nice.
yeah, I saw like people were saying like, especially because petite girls, it's actually harder for us to
Oh yeah.
lose weight and maintain a healthier like lifestyle too sometimes, because it takes more for us to lose the same amount of weight as other people.
Oh yeah, it's definitely.
So people were saying like for lunch you should do something that's like protein packed but like easy to assemble as well, and they're like dense bean salad.
Yeah.
So I really looked into it, and it's like easy to make, you know, not a lot of like cooking involved. You just cut up some vegetables, throw in some cans of beans, and you can make like an olive oil dressing on top, and voila, you're done. And it's like it keeps you full during the day, which I think is so important. So I'm just gonna be a little bit more mindful about what I'm putting in my body, and just like listening to my body. Like if I'm full, like I don't need to eat anymore.
Yeah.
I think, you know, when it comes to content creation, in the past it was like, oh, but we gotta like get our money's worth. Oh, we gotta like finish all the free food. No, like if my body is telling me I'm full, I'm gonna stop eating, you know?
Yeah.
So just being
Mindful,
mindful
for
about
sure.
food, intentional about food, and then also on top of that, being a little bit more active. And I liked how you were saying like, you know, working out can be fun and stuff. And I think I used to do tap dancing,
Yeah.
remember? And I haven't done it in a few years just because I moved away from the valley. But I was actually looking on ClassPass 2 nights ago, and I
Fun.
saw they have adult tap classes here in like Marina Del Rey.
That's cute.
So it's like only 10 minutes away, and I was like, wait, now I can do my tap again.
Yeah,
So maybe
dude,
I'm
the
gonna
dance
do
is
that.
fun. And if you've watched like another
yeah.
episode, I think it was like the self-care one where we were talking about doing a creative activity that counts as something creative because you're doing like a dance. I also did dance. I started dance if you guys
Yeah.
remember, like last year too, like just hip-hop class. But I'm still trying to get like a better routine to get it in my schedule, because there's some teachers that I really like over others. But that's super fun. It's also a good way to like get your exercise in, 60-minute, you know. And then also on the whole like beans and stuff, I also want to send a friendly reminder, you should definitely increase your fiber like intake, because that is gonna make you really full. Like I know a lot of people are like, oh, make sure you eat whole foods, don't eat processed food, make sure you eat your greens. But then I don't think a lot of people talk about like fiber and stuff, because fiber is also really important, and there's actually quite a lack of people intaking fiber. Like people
Yes.
will eat a lot of like saturated fats first before they get a fiber in, which is kind of crazy.
No, I agree. But you know what's so crazy? I actually forgot to tell you this. So recently, one of my besties, she had like a fiber overdose.
Oh no.
Like, so you've heard of people who like don't take enough fiber.
Yeah.
She actually ate too much fiber.
Wait, what is she
where
eating?
It landed her in urgent care
No way.
because it caused her like really bad stomach pains and bloat. And it was like she was using the bathroom regularly, but she thought like if she ate more fiber, it would just cause her to use the bathroom more. But instead,
Interesting. Yeah.
it caused her to have stomach cramps and bloat, and like her bowel syndrome was still just the same.
Interesting.
So her stomach pain was so bad, it landed her at urgent care, and they
Wow.
basically, the doctors were like,
Much
yeah,
fiber.
you consume too much fiber. So
Wow.
it's like crazy, because it's like I've never heard of someone having too much fiber. And she was like
Yes.
explaining how in the morning, like one morning she had like chia seed pudding, and then she had like cabbage soup, and
Ooh.
then she had apples, and then she had something else, and
Oh,
then
it's
I
kind of
think
healthy.
yeah, I was like, you would think like that's fine, that's super healthy. I guess her body was like, this is way too much fiber, and she was in a lot
Is she
of
really
pain.
skinny?
In my opinion, yes. I think she's so skinny and so
Mm-hmm.
like she looks great. But she just thought like if you ate more fiber, it just means you're just gonna use the bathroom more. But in this case, it
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
actually didn't.
That
it
is
didn't.
something-
The logic, like it makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
but in reality, I guess that's not what happens. So
Oh, I mean, that is kind of like something that people who are naturally more like thin have to be like aware that, okay, eating less might not actually be as good, because then like not that she was eating less, but like she's probably not more conscious about getting fiber in more than like carbs or something. But then it's like you definitely need like a balance of everything, like like protein, like carbs, whatever. And then if anything, I think the worst one, if you're not getting your fiber, I guess it's okay, but just try to limit like your sugar, because sugar can also be really like bad for you. But
I've been trying to be better about that. I'm like trying to watch my sugar intake, because it'll cause your
cortisol,
your levels to spike, and then right after that you're just gonna get like sleepy because you'll crash.
I'm definitely like more conscious now that I'm older with what I get sleepy with or not sleepy, or how my body reacts. So it's a good point that you made about like just being more mindful, because like for example, if I eat like too much pasta, obviously like every single day, I don't think that's the best either.
Or if you do eat, so this is what I learned from my dad, because my dad, he's had like health issues and stuff, so he started wearing a glucose monitor. So it tells you on the little screen thing, like you can check in your phone app, like what foods will cause your levels to spike.
Interesting.
And what he's noticed is like it doesn't matter if you eat something that'll cause it to spike, the best thing you can do for yourself is go on a walk after every meal. Go on a walk. Do not sit down, do not lay down, because that'll cause your levels to spike, right? So the best thing you can do is like, if you are able to, like after every meal, go, like you said, go on a 10-minute walk, or even just like do chores around the house. Just like
you have to be standing for like
be standing,
10 minutes.
be like do some movement, you know. That'll actually really help your like health,
your digestion and stuff. That's something that I think we're both trying to do, like just be on this health grind for our goals this year, because you can be active in a lot of ways, but it's just like if you can't, then the least you could do is probably focus on what you're eating, and it's like a win-win. You're eating and then you're just putting something good in your body. Okay, aside from like body and just like health goals, what are some of your other goals for the year?
I think going off of like our more recent episode of like self-care, I think really like actually focusing on my self-care even more, in terms of like I really need to learn to take more time for myself and like say no to plans, because you and I are always booked and busy. There's a birthday every single week. There's Seriously. Celebrations every single weekend, and I just need to learn to kind of pick and choose what's important and make time to just rest at home, especially because I think this year I really need to go through with like freezing my eggs, because that was like a huge thing for me last year, and then I kind of just
So you're doing that this year?
I think I need to do it this year, because I'll be like 32 soon. And they always say like the younger you freeze your egg, I mean not necessarily like ideally it's like they want embryos, right? But I don't have like someone to make an embryo with, so it's like right now I need to be in a place where I think my eggs will be like in the best shape and form, which means taking care of myself and my body, you know, resting more. I think maybe cutting down on like the alcohol, and also like the health, like working out more, eating better foods and putting better things in my body, so that I can have a really good experience with freezing my eggs and making sure my eggs can be good quality. You know, I mean, there's obviously other factors where like, you know, maybe it doesn't matter how healthy I am, my eggs are just like not great, or like they just not gonna work, and that's fine if that's the case, but I want to at least put myself in the best position possible to produce with rest. I think is really important.
I think like it's important for people to, if you're not doing it already, and this is not during like the business week of like Monday to Friday when you're working, but try to set like one of the days between Friday, Saturday, and Sunday that's just to yourself. If you're not able to get like a weekend for yourself for 1 week, like alternating, try to get at least 1 week or 1 day out of the week that's just to yourself, because it's like really important for you to reset, and you don't want it where like you're stressed 1 week, then you get stressed again for the next week, and you're continuing to pile on that stress, and then you're like ultimate break, and then you're just kind of craving for more. But then you also can look forward to having like a break. I'm also kind of trying to reestablish that too, like I want to not do anything for at least one of the days for the week on
I
the
think
weekend.
you've been really good about it too. Like you've been I feel like I see it in the last year how much you've grown and like been really good about being like, no, like I'm gonna stay at home and like rest. And I'm like, I'm so proud of you, Nina.
Thank you.
Because I know it's hard, you know, especially when people are like, hang out with me. And like,
I know, yeah.
everyone loves hanging out with Nina, you know.
Yeah.
So
I like hanging out with you too, but I need a break.
yeah, exactly. Like everyone needs a break.
Yeah, and it's like kind of hard because I don't want to like offend people by saying no, and it's not out of like, oh, I don't want to hang out with you, but it's like really need to like prioritize myself, because I'm like, I can't be the same every week with every type of person. And obviously like I'm probably not hanging out with everyone like every single week, but it's like for me it's like my world, and I'm like, okay, I'm definitely seeing someone new every week, and it's like I need to slow down just a lot more. Yeah, so that's one thing. I think like other goals is like I really want to reestablish like my finances and find like stability and like saving and stuff a lot more. And I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the episode that I thought was really like helpful for me last year, where I had separated my goals into quarters, like how it is for work. And I think I posted a TikTok video about it a while back, where I think it's best where if you're someone who has a hard time achieving a goal, or feel like your New Year's resolution is a little too general that you can't really put into action, set your goals by each like Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. And an example of how I separated, I think last year, Q1 was for this podcast. Like I set the goal that, okay, I want this podcast to be up and running at the beginning of the year, so it makes me feel accomplished by the time that the year ends, like 2025 for example. And I'm like, okay, looking back, what did I do? I started a podcast, my mental is a bit better. I went to travel, and then like it's a bit more easier to see what the goals were by setting it into quarters. And like if I said like, oh, I want to like work out this year, it kind of doesn't seem like, I mean, you can have that as a goal, but there's no like conclusion to that goal. So for me, I really wanted to like set it, and then, you know, like once I finish that goal, I can move on to like the next goal. So you don't have to do just one goal for every quarter, but it's like, for example, like I wanted to like max my Roth IRA before the end of the year last year. So that's like another goal that I had. And then, yeah, and then save like X amount before the end of the year too. But it's like easier that way, because if you're someone like me who like has a goal and then you kind of don't achieve it, and then you get defeated for not achieving that goal, and then you hold yourself at a standard for not achieving that goal, and then you're like, okay, I'm never going to set a goal again. But it's like goal setting in quarters, like how you do for work, is the best way, I think. And I'm going to do that again for this year.
I like that. That's good. Yeah, it makes goals more attainable instead of you just like forgetting about it. Or yeah.
And I think some people might do it differently, where they're like, oh, I want to achieve this weight or something by this date. But then even that, I feel like if you don't reach it, then you're going to be like, oh my God. But I think if you set it more like, instead of like especially for body or whatever, or like followers or something, like instead of saying like, oh, I want to achieve like 40,000 by like, I don't know, like March or something. Instead, you can be like, okay, how are you going to get there to that goal? Like, okay, I want to post at least 4 to 5 times like a week, because you know that the followers will follow afterwards. But if you have yourself at that standard, it's like, okay, like you'll post between that time, and then you'll still feel like successful in that way, because it's also, again, not about the numbers, but the consistency was the 4 to 5 times a week. Same thing with like going to the gym. I also said that I was going to go to the gym like 4 to 5 times a week, and I didn't define like how long each of those workout sessions were, but it's like just going to the gym or working out 4 to 5 times. Even if it's at home, I'll like I can do like a 30-minute like YouTube video or something. And by having that as like an intention, instead of saying like, oh, I want to lose like 15 pounds in like 3 months, like if you don't achieve that, then you're like,
you're like discouraged.
So I'm someone who probably is maybe waiting for myself to fail. So it's like, that's better for me to not have such a harsh goal on yourself. If it works for you though, good for you, like to set it high. But I think for me, I need the consistency in a goal where I'm like, it's still short term, like 4 to 5 times a week. Like that's something that there's a kind of a deadline, but then there's a consistency aspect within that goal.
Yeah. No, I think that's so smart. I think that's a healthier way to go about achieving your goals too.
Yeah. And I know like other people, like if you struggle with like productivity, something that I like doing is like lists. So
Me too.
Aside from just putting on like a notes app, I've tried this thing that I actually do think is very productive, but I need to get on it again. Is like I used to have like a daily notebook ish where it's like a date, and then I number one column that says like the time from like 9 to midnight or something, and then the other column on the same page is like to do tasks, and then under to dos I'll put top priority, number it 1 to 3, and then another one that says to dos, and it'll be like the rest of my list. So then I put my priority tasks that I need to do for the day, and then on the column where it's all the timestamp, I'll write, like let's say I have to like work from like 12 to 3 or something. I'll create like a box and then say that task, like I need to work on this for that time frame. Or if it's like I'll block off like, okay, from like 4 to 6 I'm gonna work out or something, or like I need to do this amount of chores, or I need to do this amount of errands, or this type of errand. And I think visually seeing like the time block of how much you're given is also easier because you're setting yourself at a deadline, but it's kind of like open in the sense that it's a vague time frame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's good. It's all about time management, right? Like that's how you connect time management with it, and how to be productive and also achieving your goals. And for me, I like physically writing my list because it gives me so much like satisfaction to like
check mark
or like cross it off, and that keeps me motivated too.
Same.
So
I do that on my notes app too. If I'm like on your notes you can add like a bullet point. That one's definitely very satisfying.
Yeah, because it like crosses it out and then it like moves it to the bottom, and I'm like, I got one thing done. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. And then before I used to do it on like Google Sheets, but then sometimes it looks a little too overwhelming. So the notes app is a bit better.
Yeah.
But listing is definitely like the best way, even if you don't like use a planner. But I definitely think a planner would help.
I used to love using planners, like physical ones, because I like writing things down. But then it started getting annoying carrying everywhere. So that's when I shifted to the iPhone like calendar. Yeah. And I'm just like, I'll just put everything in there now.
Yeah. My Google Calendar low-key kind of frightens me because there's so much on the calendar. Yeah. So now that I have like physical planners, it's kind of better because then I'm like, I can just draw it out, and then it's for like daily tasks and stuff. So it makes me feel like I'm accomplished. Yeah. But it is a little hard for me to finish sometimes the year, but then I might forget a couple weeks and then go back to it and whatever. But I'll try to stay a bit more on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then goal setting too, like something to remember is to up level each few months. And for me, I'm probably referencing like each quarter, like if let's say that I saw this thing on TikTok too where it's like, don't force yourself to wake up at 5 a.m. like one day. Like start it easy. Like, okay, wake up at like 9 or 8 a.m. and then maybe like work backwards and then like the next quarter maybe switch it to 6 a.m. and then the third quarter 5 a.m. because that would be also feeling more attainable that way. And then like you can also put it in reference like, if you want to work out, at least like if you're not someone who generally works out, don't force yourself where like you're gonna feel defeated, and if you don't go 1 week you're just gonna wait for the next week to work out. So like, okay, I'm gonna work out like 2 times a week this month, and then you can upgrade it in the next month and be like, okay, I'm gonna do 3 times a week, because it's like better than nothing too. But then you can always look forward to something next week. Don't make it too easy like once a week, but maybe like twice a week or something. And then you can upgrade from there.
I like that.
It's all set for yourself
setting yourself
Self
up for
your
success.
Yes, yeah. Don't set up yourself for failure, because I think that's a lot of people's habits. But you also have to treat yourself kind, because you're also trying to break out of bad habits. So if one day, like, it's not gonna be like sudden, like, I'm a new person, I'm gonna do like each one of these things. Like, maybe for the really, really disciplined people, but if you're coming from someone who's not disciplined, how can you expect for one day you're just gonna wake up and be like, yes.
Yeah, what is the statistics where it's like how many times you have to do something before it becomes a habit?
Oh yeah, I've seen it like I've seen it like between 30, 60, and 90 days,
yeah.
but I don't know what the number is now, because I think in like middle school they told us like 30 days, and I'm like, I can do something for 30 days and then go back to it after 30 days. But I feel like
so
maybe
it's
like 90 or maybe 60, because I think 60 is like 2 months almost, but then 90 is like a whole quarter.
Okay, fair.
But for at least that too, like, you're setting yourself up how you can like succeed for each like day. Every day you get a little bit better, 1% better, or that you were yesterday. So it's about like those incremental changes, and then it's going to be so drastic at the end. Yeah. But either way, I hope like goals for this year, like for myself, aside from goal setting, like mental's a little bit better. Like work is also, maybe work too is something that I want to balance, where I can balance my actual work and then like content creation a lot more, because I want my content creation to really like be something that's takes more of a priority in my life and my time schedule, because I don't really put content creation, surprisingly enough, like at my priority. Like, it's kind of work and like other stuff. So that's one thing that I want to like work on. But
I like that too, because even our podcast, I feel like you and I are consistently trying to work on it, and I feel like we have goals for ourselves just within the podcast, and we have like big things that we want to achieve, and because we work full time, sometimes it's hard for us to juggle the podcast too on top of our own content on our own pages. So I think for me and Nina this year, this is why we like kind of had like a little restructuring, is so that we can set ourselves up for success with our podcast and keep it going and growing.
Yeah, because as you guys know from last year, we were doing like hour-long podcasts, but then it was also kind of like draining towards like each time we would finish the podcast, it'd be like a lot out of us. But it's not to say that the content wasn't good. It was just like, it could be a lot more efficient. And you know how like in business class they teach you about like the opportunity cost of things, and opportunity cost is kind of like when you're working on something, and how can it be the most used in the most efficient way possible, and then what are like other, in the simplest terms, that if you're not a business major, I'm explaining. But it's like making things more efficient in the schedule, and then seeing where you might divvy up the tasks or divvy up like the work to become more effective at with another person, another way, or whatever. So for us, I think what we've been saying at the beginning of this season's podcast, we were saying like we want to create more intentional content, where each episode is something that we had thought about, and we really like put more like meaning towards what we wanted to say, instead of like doing 1 hour podcast and only the first like 30-40 minutes are the most effective. And we're kind of just dilly-dallying at the last 15 minutes, But again, like for what we said at the beginning, we are still gonna keep our interviews with other guests like an hour long, because I definitely love having that interaction with everyone and picking out their brain. But for our own like personal ones, or just between me and Tiff, where we'll do like 30-minute episodes and then make it more efficient each time. So and I guess if you're really been watching, we've been doing a lot of hooks at the beginning of our videos, so hopefully we're getting you interested each time you watch. But let us know. We're always open to like feedback about if it's resonating or not. So
help us so that we can set better goals for ourselves to achieve as well when it comes to the podcast.
Yeah. Well, either way, thanks for watching. You know where to find us. We're releasing episodes every week on YouTube and Spotify, and you can follow us on Instagram at Just One by Pod. Yeah, I think this was a good episode. Like, goal setting was a really important one that we wanted to talk about, but we also want us to check in with you because this is gonna come out a little later, like into Q1, guys. But it's okay. We can do a check in Q2.
Yeah.
How you're doing? But yeah. Anyways, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.